Naomi, that was a good whisper. I'm just waiting for Chris.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started as we are now live on YouTube to the millions of followers that I'm sure WHBS TV has. So we will go ahead and get started here with tonight's awards ceremony. This is a crazy way to do an awards ceremony. So we did a couple last night and they seemed to go okay. I didn't go back and critique the actual video. So we will be moving the camera around a little bit as you come up and get awards and as your coaches talk about you. So it won't be just when you go back and watch it, because I know you all will, it won't be just the people standing at the podium that you'll be able to see. So first of all, congratulations. One of our, the most successful team this fall, not one of them, but the most successful team. So give yourselves a round of applause, way to go. Was awesome to be down at the state championships this past weekend. Obviously beautiful weather. I know a lot of you that weren't competing made the trip down as well. So that was really neat to see. And so just wanted to say congratulations on that. You know, first of all, to our senior parents, thank you for attending this evening, and thank you for bearing with us as we went through this season. You know, it's crazy to think that we went from a chance of not even having fall sports to full go fall sports in a matter of like 5 days. And so the fact that you got to where you got to tells me that you know how to work hard, that your parents made you do the right things and kept us safe, and we didn't have any quarantines and we didn't have to shut down or anything like that. So and that goes, you know, for most of our fall sports. We really didn't miss but one football game at the end of the year. We played full seasons in almost every other in every other sport. So kudos to you guys for being disciplined and being able to follow the protocols as best we can. Before I turn it over to your coaches here, I did want to mention, as I always do, the Westlake Demon Athletic Boosters, led by our president, Tim Ben. About half the awards that you'll get, actually, I should have a little disclaimer. We had some award issues. So while we're going to announce some awards, those awards are somewhere between here and Medina in the mail. So Mrs. McKenzie did have COVID for a couple of weeks, so that threw things into a tiz, but we got everything in on time, but they didn't mail it out on time. So while you will get your name announced for special awards tonight, we hope to have those in tomorrow. But we didn't want to cancel tonight in case we have to go into quarantine or worse. So, but did want to mention the boosters do provide about half of the awards that we hand out for these, and they do a great job. If you are interested in a varsity jacket, if you haven't earned a letter and you're earning one tonight, or you just want a varsity jacket, you can get those in the W Shop. Mrs. Prexta is in charge of that program, and she will be able to help you. You can link right onto the Westlake Demon Athletic Boosters website from the athletic website if you go down to one of the drop-down boxes. Just again, with the boosters, they are always looking for new members. The greatest thing is being in a district like Westlake. We thought, you know, oh, what are we going to do? We can't have season passes and those sorts of things. And our community has really stepped up. Our numbers, and Mrs. Clark will be able to tell you, but our numbers really didn't dip as far as we thought they might dip. And actually, they're pretty close to normal, which is crazy to think. And they've done an awesome job, and we want to continue to support them. And so if you're not a booster member, and students, you can be booster members as well. Please consider doing that. Also, they are taking volunteers for the concession stand for basketball. Hopefully, knock on wood, we get that far. If you are interested in volunteering for a basketball game, students, you can do that too for service hours. We would welcome that as well. Mrs. Laura Lett is our new concessions person. So again, there's a sign up genius on the website. And then if you haven't, hopefully you did on the way in or on the way out. Great initiative that our boosters do every year at this time, honoring the veterans out front. So if you see the flags and the lights and the signs, if you get a chance to get out of your car and walk around, it's actually a nice night. You can read some of the honorees we have out there. So great job by them. So without further ado, I think I'm going to bring up your head coach, Coach Travis Hasselworth.
Thank you, Mr. Cipollone. I guess I wanted to start off with, usually I'd start off by saying thank you, but I kind of want to give a quick reason as to why we're so thankful right now. When you look back at this team and this program, it looks like it's one of the, you guys are one of the best ever. You had the best team 5K. You did that twice. You guys went to state. You guys broke the freshman record. We ended up 5 different times this year. You were only the 4th team in program history, or the 5th team, I should say, to win SWC title. Only the 2nd team to win district title. The first one being back in 1987. Guys, the first time ever we were in the state ranking polls where people actually rank cross-country teams. I did not know that until you guys showed up. You had 2 top 50 runners. We had our first ever all-Ohio runners. You guys were undefeated through districts. You won 5 tri-meets. You won the Bay Invite. You won conference, districts. You were 4th at regionals, 13th at state, ranked 14 in the state. That's a lot to be thankful for, that right there. I've been around for 18 years, and Mason's been around for 1. If you do the math on that, I think we could figure some things out. But you guys had an amazing season. It was just amazing to be a part of. So that's why we're here giving thanks. And so to echo what Mr. Cipollone said, first off, thanks to the parents. This has been nuts, right? This has been crazy this year. I remember standing out with Mr. Sullivan in June, I think, when we were allowed to start practicing. And we both said there is 0% chance that we are going to be standing at the conference meet when this season ends. None. Turns out we were right, because you guys made it all the way to the state meet. So it turns out we were a little right there, but everything looked so bizarre. And I remember Mr. Cipollone calling us on Monday. He said, hey, get ready. You guys have a meet on Saturday. It just happened that fast. I remember talking to the Olmsted Falls coach when we got there. I was like, hey, thanks for hosting. We found out on Monday. She's like, I found out on Tuesday that we were hosting this meet. So everything just happened really fast, and it couldn't have happened without your guys' support, without you guys driving your daughters to practices, when we stopped using buses, driving your daughters to the meets, all the way to Youngstown, to Columbus, all that stuff. So you guys are a big reason for this team's success. So I definitely want to thank you guys. Mr. Cipollone and Mr. Wilson have been 2 of the biggest advocates for this team this year in terms of getting us just started, getting us meets. They've been huge in helping to get this thing going, because there were times where, you guys know, some other teams ran some other bigger meets. We were struggling to get into stuff, and with their help, we were able to do that. So huge thanks to them. As always, thanks to Mrs. McKenzie. Without her, it'd be really tough to have a lot of these awards and all of those things. Coach Romansky and Coach Bowles, definitely the boys coaches. They coached the boys, but they were so jacked up about how well you guys did. They couldn't stop talking about it, and they played a big role in this. And Coach Mason, thanks so much for your help this season. It was invaluable in just all the little things, and especially a lot of the big things. So to the parents, to Mason, to everybody, thank you so much. But the big reason we're here is obviously to thank the kids, to thank the young ladies that made this season so awesome. So that's what we'd like to do. It's gonna be a little bit different format than what we usually do, a little bit quicker. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of call people up in pairs or groups and try to talk about them a little bit that way as we hand out some of the awards. So when you come up, okay, make sure you grab a T-shirt there that WDAB got you guys for winning conference and districts. They're lined up in sizes, small, medium, and large. So make sure you get one of those, and thank you guys for that. That's pretty awesome. When you leave, make sure you autograph one of the pictures over there. We're going to put those in some of the awards cabinet so that we can remember it forever and ever. So make sure you sign some of those things over there. So first off, let's start off with some of our first year letter winners. Let's call it first Lucy Rocco and Maeve Stopko. Come on up. Long walk. All right, so Lucy and Maeve, the theme that I would like to talk about for them is first and last. And in terms of first and last, what I mean is, did you do an elbow bump or no? All right, good job. Thank you. One of my first memories of this season is Lucy Rocco. We were in practice, we were trying to figure out who everybody was. Everybody's wearing a mask, we had no idea. And all of a sudden, Lucy just dead sprints off into the field somewhere. And Mason and I are like, what is going on with this girl? And the freshmen are kind of like, yeah, that's Lucy. Lucy sprints off, and apparently she was going to investigate a net that was involved in lacrosse or something like that. And then she sprinted back and said, yes, the net's okay. I'm like, all right, that's good to know. Maeve, I'm going to say one of my last memories is of Maeve because Maeve was at everything. She was at districts, regionals, she was at state. She seemed to be a good luck charm for the team. I think she was officially our alternate runner at state, so I hope you still have your uniform ready. My biggest memory of Maeve, though, is she's a competitive dancer, and we asked her one time, what's your competition like this weekend? She's like, I don't have any competition. We're like, oh, right, way to be cocky. We like that. She's like, no, I don't have competition. We're like, yeah, you don't. Turned out she didn't have any competition, but we thought she was being pretty bold in there. But they both ran with kind of the same passion that Lucy showed us that first day. They were both fantastic teammates, and it was a great first year for both of you guys. Thanks so much for being part of the group. Hey, Melda, Grace Baker, Leah Zabo, Christina Ware.
So these four, well, three of them are only here, are definitely our chattiest girls on the cross country team. And they had me really confused for a while about if they wanted to be here just for like the social aspect or if they were like really into running. So Christina, while she's not here, definitely stretched bullies. I think she used stretching time to just kind of catch up on gossip or share whatever was going on, but we were constantly like, Christina stretch. And then Faye definitely had the least movement in her dynamics. It was amazing how little she moved as she walked stretching. And then Leah and I had a bad experience every time we were at Clay Park and I'd send her out on a run and she'd come back, like I'd send her on this death run. For whatever reason, she just had a really bad run. It was just, I felt like I was a curse for her. Thankfully, Leah and Faye forgive me because they have been planning my wedding. We've decided on blush bridesmaid dresses during ceramics, so that's good girls. And Grace Baker is the social butterfly of this entire group. She is probably best friends with every single person on this team, individually and as a group. So while these girls are super chatty, they also proved that they wanted to be there because they wanted to run. We'd give them a distance to run, and they'd all be like, well, can I run like 3 miles more? And, okay, like, sure. Or they'd come back after their run and run another few like laps on the track. Just blew me away. So while they were all very, very chatty, they proved time and time again that they were serious and they had some really awesome races. They even won a few. And they worked hard and continued to socialize. So well done, girls, on earning your first varsity letter. I cannot wait to see what you guys bring to the team next year.
All right. Grace Lavecchia, Will McCoy, and Mae Kilroy. All right, so the theme for Grace and for Willa is kind of out of nowhere. Both girls came out of nowhere to put in some really fantastic performances as the season wound down. Grace had a foot injury. Well, not with the foot. Grace had a foot injury early on, so we really had to nurse her back slowly and conservatively, which is tough because she's an athlete, she's a basketball player, she wants to get at it, she wants to get working. And then once we did get her back, I think it was Berea Mid Park where we raced, she just had a fantastic coming out race. And it was just awesome to see. And she had another really great race after that. And so she's definitely got a lot of athleticism. She definitely has a lot of effort and heart. And it was just awesome to see her come back from that foot injury and put in some really, really good times, almost out of nowhere. Willow was kind of the same thing. With a team this large and with as many freshmen as we have, some people sometimes get lost in the shuffle a little bit. But about midway through the season, Willow started putting these times where we're like, whoa, who is this redhead? Who's this, this girl? And she's just crushing these times, pushing into the top 10, pushing onto a varsity spot until the end of the season. And it was just awesome to see her work so hard and get so much reward out of it. They were both great additions to this team. They both kind of came out of nowhere, but now they're here, and we're really excited about what they're going to do next year as well. Guys, thanks so much. All right, so we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to start to call up some of the team awards and our award winners at the same time. So bear with us. It'll hopefully make a little bit of sense. But our next two girls that we're going to call up are our next two. I'm sorry, Allison Boker, Eve Stefanovich, and Grace Holmes.
So I'm very lucky to know these girls outside the cross-country course and in my classroom. And I can say that each and every one of them bring humor to every situation and fun. I'd like to also say that these girls probably have a love-hate relationship, which I feel makes us kindred spirits. We run, or they run a lot more than me. But while they're doing it, I'm not so sure that they enjoy it all the time. Sometimes they're running past me and they're shaking their head at me saying like, I would literally like to be doing anything other than this right now. And this could be on the course or at practice, but they have the grit and they continue to work and they continue to show up and they continue to run. So that's awesome. And I like that they bring that humor to, while they kind of have that love-hate relationship, they still persevere every time and compete when it's time to compete. I'd also like to make a special acknowledgement because they were also very big fans of Frisbee Friday. Grace is probably one of the most competitive Frisbee Friday girls. She would get really mad at her team when they did not care as much as she did about winning. Eva was also really great with Frisbee Friday. She even they got their team Frisbee, the Bible study, and I got one of their Frisbees made, hanging in my classroom. Come check it out. But usually one of these girls, like they found the best of every situation. So thank you for Allison and Eva for their second letter, and Grace Holmes, you got your third varsity letter this year. So congratulations, ladies.
Okay, we'll call up, let's have Sarah Peer and Ellie Irwin. Come on up. I try to do these things in themes, and one of the themes here is the best. Ellie and Sarah are two of the best runners in the state of Ohio. You have two top 50 runners. You have one all-Ohio runner, one of the top 30 runners in the state of Ohio. They both broke the freshman record. They're trying to add it up, I think, 3 or 4 times. They keep re-breaking it, resetting it. They were both all regional runners, which means they were in top 30 there. They were all conference runners, all district runners. Whenever they were, these two combined, across the finish line for Westlake first all season long. It was funny because at districts in particular, I remember I was talking to one of the sports reporters, and he's asking about the team. We're like, well, they're super focused, they're super together, they're intense, and they just want to win and do all this stuff. And he's like, those guys? And I turned around, and Mr. Cipollone was there too, and we turned around, and 3 or 4 of them are chasing Ellie around with mud and worms and running around and screaming, and they're just messing. I was like, yeah, those guys over there. They were intense. They wanted to beat everybody, but at the same time, they were still having a lot of fun. The memory of Sarah I remember is the very first workout, or one of the first hard workouts we had a mile time trial. And as soon as she was done, she was cheering for all of the girls on the team. The last race where we were all together was at the JV race in Avon, and the varsity girls had a workout, and Sarah was there cheering for all the girls again. And to see, one of the best runners in the state of Ohio do that Speaks to a ton of leadership, even at a very, very, very young age. But they're both a lot of fun. Trying to figure out how to navigate the sister relationship between Sydney and Sarah at practices sometimes was an interesting dynamic for us to try to watch. We get a couple more years of that. But they're fantastic runners. They're fantastic young ladies. We're so very proud of them being what they've done this year, but we're just so very proud of what they've done off the course as well. Guys, thank you so much for just a great year. Well, yeah, if you guys could just kind of stay on the edge there because we're going to need you back in a second.
Just not the shot, just off the side.
Yeah.
You can be a little closer. I'm joking.
Stephanie and Sydney, come on up. It'll make sense in a second, hopefully. All right, so Stephanie and Sydney, come on up. We're also two members of our varsity team. They're so fast. It takes so long to get here. Yeah, that's not awkward. The theme here is core. And by core, I don't mean the sit-ups that we are the only team in the state of Ohio that do sit-ups right before our race. So what it is the core group of our varsity team. For a team to be really good, you got to have just all kinds of factors. You got to be very good at the front end, at the back end, all over the place. But in the middle, with Stephanie and with Sydney, we have one of the strongest cores in probably the state. Stephanie just grinds. She just goes out there and she puts in all the effort, all the time, whether it's a race, whether it's a workout. She just goes for it. And she tries to get with her pack and tries to get with her group, even if she gets separated. She's intense when she's out there, but she's off the course, probably the sweetest, most Disney princess person you have ever. There's probably Disney princesses who are just way meaner than her, just because by comparison, she's such a sweetheart. I do remember the practices though that every practice would take about 5 minutes longer than maybe it should have, because Stephanie would ask us question after question about the routes and where we were going and things like that. But we'd figure it out. Sydney is also part of that course. She was a lone veteran runner of the group. And the thing that really struck me about Sydney was focus. And Mason and I were a little worried about it because sometimes when you get too focused or too amped up, it can backfire. So we were at regionals and Sydney was like, we're going to state. And Mason and I were like, we don't like that pressure. Calm down. Like, no, we're going to do it. And we're like, oh boy. And what happened? She came out, she ran a fantastic strategic race. They were all in the top 5 or 10 at the top of the first 100 meters. And she just crushed it. And she bettered her time by over a minute from the previous year, bettered her placement by almost 100 spots from the previous year, and was just so focused. And for somebody to be that focused and that quality, even though she's a really good soccer player and a really good cross-country runner, just speaks volumes to her quality as an athlete. But both of them together are just complete sweethearts. They're awesome to have on the team. We needed that kind of veteran experience with so many younger runners who hadn't been there before. I think it helps us that Sydney is related to somebody else on the team to kind of push her around as well. They are all district runners, all conference runners. Sydney was also academic all Ohio. She's one of the smartest, had one of the highest GPAs at the state meet. So guys, it was just an enormous amount of fun this year. We can't wait for next year. Thank you so much. All right, our next two, we'll keep those guys over there, is Ava and Sarah Coleman. Come on up. All right, so the team here is kind of raw, and what I mean by that is both are new runners at the high school level. Sarah showed up last year for Frisbee Fridays, and that was it. She didn't run with us, but we were able to, with the help of Logan, to get her on the team, and she just did nothing but improve all season long to the point where she moved her way up to become our number 5 and 6 runner. But she had a lot of raw emotions when it came to races and to meets, and Mason had to be, we call her kind of the Sarah whisperer. Like, it's going to be okay. Do your thing. It's going to be okay. I think at the end of the season, Avery became a little bit, or Ashley Boyd became a little bit of the Avery, of the, whoever you are. of the Sarah Witcher there, of just calming her down. Because once she got out there, she did amazing, awesome stuff. Ava was raw as well, because of COVID and knee injury in soccer. She wasn't able to get with us until a little bit later. And once she did, though, she had to learn how to run. She had to learn how to race. And with the help of a number of girls around her that we'll get to in a moment, she was able to put in some fantastic performances that by the end of the year, she was just gobbling people up in front of her. And I remember talking to her at regional. She put in this great race that clinched the team, securing a state qualifying spot. And she just moved up. And we asked her, like, what did you do there? And she said, I just wanted that thing to be over with. I just wanted to be done with it. It's like, all right, well, that's good. But they were both raw, but they were both kind of like the unfinished product. But the finished product at the end of the year was awesome. They put in 2 near PRs, or 1 PR and near PRs for the state meet. They ran great together. For a team to be as good as this team is, you've got to have a great 5 and 6, and we certainly do. Ladies, thank you so much for what you did this year. We can't wait for next year. Okay, our next two, Avery Douglas and Marissa Cutter. The Avery Douglas show. All right, so the reason I brought Avery and Marissa up together, and the theme for them was going to be adversity, because both overcame it. We're talking about Marissa. Marissa started off with our top 4 runners, and as the season progressed, because of soccer and going to school and things like that, her time kind of came down a little bit. But what Marissa never stopped doing was caring about her teammates and helping her teammates, and she really helped teach some of the people around her how to run, how to race, whether it was Sarah Coleman, whether it was Ava, whether it was Avery, whether it was Willa. She really helped those young ladies. And Avery was similar. Avery had to balance soccer. She had to balance cross country. She got basketball workouts going as well. And as the team started to get solidified who our top 7 were, she was kind of bumped in and out a little bit. She had to work really hard to get back into that top 7, and work she did. One of my favorite memories, and it's a tough one because I'm team this good, somebody's going to get left out, and it stinks to be able to have to tell somebody that, is when Marissa and Avery, when it came down to that, just the conversations they would have and how supportive they would be of each other, despite the fact that one was going to run and one was going to have to sit out. And that just speaks to not just a leadership, but a maturity that you don't really see all the time at any level, quite honestly. And so we were super impressed with that, but we were super impressed with Avery's ability. She's running in the 22, she's putting some amazing times. Her work, her effort is all being rewarded. So we want to put her up in this group because, so these are the 7, and with Marissa, the 8 girls that ran varsity for us much of the year this year, and the 8 girls that play a big role at conference, districts, regionals, and state at the postseason. And so when we were trying to come up with an MVP for the season, those are always really tough awards. You're going to leave somebody out. So I talked to the old coach who's been around back in the 80s and 90s, Gary Uhl. And the last time the team made it to state in 1997, I asked him, how did you decide who the MVP was? And he's like, I didn't. I was like, what are you talking about? You didn't. I couldn't decide on one person because all season long they had been together. As soon as he said the word together, that's the word we've been using all season long. It's a little unorthodox, but what he said was, our 1 was pushed by our 2 and 3, and our 3 and 4 were pushed by our 1, and our 5 and 6, and it was all together. And that's a theme that we've been saying all season long. We train together, run together, race together, win together. All 8 of these girls played such an enormous role in the success this team had on the course that all 8 of these girls are richly deserving of this team's Most Valuable Runner Award this year. And so, ladies, congratulations to all of you for being the MVP this season. Unfortunately, the award isn't here yet, so I will get it to you tomorrow, and you'll get that. But we just want to congratulate all of you on that. And now you guys can go back into the stand. All right, so our next, we're going to call some seniors, juniors, and we're also going to give one of our other awards. But let's call Alexa, Maura, and Molly. Come on.
These three girls showed so much dedication from summer to the end of their season. It's been so much fun to watch them grow and push themselves. They continue to knock seconds and minutes off their times from race to race. Alexa worked really hard and was in our top 10. She was such a big influencer with some of our younger and newer racers. She has this calming, strong leadership quality that kind of goes unnoticed, but a lot of the younger runners really gravitated towards her, and she really was a big influence on keeping them calm, teaching them how to run, racing with them, and then even with the workout, she really pushed them. Maura worked really hard this year. She had a tough choice of having a really fun season where she was kind of just like hanging out with her friends, or choosing to push herself and improve her own running. She found a really great balance where she was able to still have fun, I feel like, at every practice, but she really improved her time. She chose certain runs during the week to kind of push her tempo and her pace, and she really surprised us throughout the races and how she kept improving from race to race. Molly probably surprised me the most this year. I know Molly from class and track, and the Molly I saw this summer and this season is a brand new Molly that I've never met before. She was so determined to beat her race again and again, and she did. She was so determined to improve. And I think there was a bet going on somewhere. That was your dad. Yeah, so I think that was the driving force, but I mean, she did the work and she put it in. I'm so proud of the hard work she was putting in and the result that she got and she deserved. These three pushed at practice and on the course, and that's why we are awarding them most improved. Molly, stay. Molly is also one of our seniors, and she was a huge bridge that brought the team together. Her and Grace Baker, again, one of her besties over here, they kept trying to come back after season. I'm pretty sure that we saw you leaving the track last week before we got there. So her dedication, even though her season had ended, she really kept being part of the team. She really helped. We had this veteran group, and then we had these underclassmen, and there was a clear divide between them. And Molly really reached out to the freshmen, and she would go over and talk to them and hang out with them. And she now has a new best friend over here. So you're such a kind person. You have a lot to offer, and you've proven to everyone here that if you want something, you go for it, and you're a force that's going to accomplish your goals. So thank you. I know you're a transfer student, but the 2 years you gave us for cross country and your dedication to the team, we wish you the best of luck next year. Thank you. And can I have Grace Hanson and Logan Coleman?
One of the things the WDAB does for 4-year letter winners is give them this 8x10 picture plaque of the athlete. So it's a super nice award here. And congratulations to Grace for getting her 4-year letter.
So these two seniors were thick as thieves. They practiced together, they raced together, and they never gave up on each other. They really were supportive at all times throughout the season. And it was really great to watch them push each other and encourage them. When one was struggling or the other was succeeding, they were each other's biggest cheerleaders. You push each other at practice and on the court. Logan, I'm not going to forget the time you were playing Frisbee Friday and you were making your name out of sticks while everyone else was playing. I have a picture of it. And Grace, you have such extreme knowledge about everyday facts that nobody else knows that you definitely taught me and I'm pretty sure everyone else here a whole lot. And you are definitely on my team if I do trivia night. The season would have been the same without you guys. You guys were always part of the team and pushing and cheering on everyone else. And everyone was there encouraging you as you guys were finishing as well. So thanks again for your years in cross country. Thank you.
Okay, and our senior captains, Ashley Boyd, Olivia Clark, and Alex Fernandez. Those are a little happy, yeah. Yeah, they're moving. They're so proud of their photo. All right, so these three are our senior captains. These three have been, like Grace, with us for 4 years now. It's funny, back in 2017, the girls won conference for the first time in 20 years, and these three each played a huge role on the course. Ashley was an all-conference runner on that team. Alex was on the varsity team. And I remember Olivia was in that top 10 who helped push the girls when we ran a district in the open race to get Alex and Lila back on that team. So they all played a huge role on the team back in 2017. And then in 18 and 19, when I admittedly was busy with my 1-year-old and 2-year-old, and I probably wasn't putting in the time that I should have, these guys carried the team. And without them doing the daily grind stuff, I don't know how much would have gotten done. So I'm eternally grateful for their help and their guidance during those 2 years. Then this year is supposed to be the fun senior, yay, let's have fun, you know, we're captains, let's do all that stuff here. And none of that could happen. We couldn't practice together. We were in pods. We had practice at different times, in different places. We couldn't show up at the same time. We couldn't do sleepovers. We couldn't do pasta dinners, which is like, I'm pretty sure, you know, the reason half the people are on this team. Any of that stuff we couldn't do. Any of the stuff that made being a senior and a captain fun, we couldn't do. And so they had a really tough transition. But they played a huge role off the course this year in the success of this team this year. Olivia Clark is like the mother of this team. Because of COVID, we realized that practices were taking forever. Nobody wanted to go home. Everybody wanted to hang out for as long as they could. And Clarky, as we call her, was the one who would stay there for as long as possible to make sure the freshmen and Sarah Coleman got home eventually, because Logan never showed up at the But Clarky would always do that. She would always care about everybody around. She had such a big heart, and that big heart was just on display every practice. And it was just awesome. She also had a really nice season. She pushed to be in the top 10 as well, and it was just awesome. Let's see what she did on and off the course. Alex is the analytical one of our group. Alex is so smart. She is our scholar athlete. Okay, so that's a round of applause right there, because she's our scholar athlete. She's also a 4-year letter winner, just like these other girls. She's the one that can tell me, listen, hey, this isn't working, or listen, we need to do this. And she's very forthright. She's very to the point. And where I trust Clarky's heart on where the team is at, Alex, I don't know if you want to enter the high, stress hating field of girls cross country coaching, but if you do, please don't apply here, because I don't want to lose my job yet. But you would be just so good at it, because she just knows the vibe of the team, knows what's going on, and she's very willing to tell me, listen, this is what we need to do. This is what's working. This isn't what's working. To be able to do that at that age is impressive. Boyd has been kind of the goofball of this team for so many years. She's just been fun, loving. She's been, kind of go by the beat of her own drummer type of thing. And this was a tough transition year for her. But she did such a great job with the team at the end of the year. And I remember Mason was telling me at the state meet, the biggest meet of the year, and not only are these three girls in Columbus, a 2.5-hour drive. Not only were they at regionals, hour and a half trip. Sarah was having her usual pre-race meltdown. No offense, Sarah, but she was having a rough go. And Ashley was the one who pulled her aside. And Ashley was the one who talked her out of the ledge. And Ashley was the one who got her prepared to run what turned out to be a really, really nice final race of the year. So while they played a huge role on the course in 2017, I would argue they played as big a role off the course in 2020. And that goes back to our team of together, from the parents to the administration, from the coaches, the athletes, from runner number 1 to runner number 28. You guys together made this season what it was. And our seniors, we can't thank you guys enough for your patience, for your support, for your guidance. I mean, for everything you've done. It's a rough way to go out, but I really do think that learning through this adversity and everything that you've done is going to make you guys so much stronger. And that's crazy because you guys are so awesome and so strong as it is. All right, so from Grace to Molly to Logan to Ashley to Alex to Clark. Thank you guys so much for 4 fantastic years. All right, so usually at this point we would have a slideshow. Usually at this point I'd hand you like a 150-page banquet booklet that is way too heavy. Those things, because you guys are so good, aren't done yet. Okay, so we are going to work on those and we're going to get those out hopefully in the next 2 weeks. Our goal is definitely before Thanksgiving, we'll have a slideshow put up either on the website or on the Google Classroom, somewhere along those lines. So if you have any pictures, please continue to send them in and we'll put together the slideshow. The good news is you don't have to listen to my version of popular music this time. So I always kind of screw that up. The second thing is the banquet booklet. We will compile that in the next week and we'll get those to the girls and we'll get those to the parents because my favorite part of looking at that booklet is seeing the girls' times, you know, from freshman to senior, but even more than that is the senior letters. And the seniors all wrote some fantastic letters this year. There's a letter from Mr. Cipollone that's in there. That's really special because you kind of look back on those 4 years and you can kind of see how much the program meant, but most importantly, how much you guys all meant to each other. Make sure before you leave that you athletes, you guys autograph some of the pictures in the back there. Okay, make sure you do that. And once again, thank you for all the trophies up here. The little one is the one that my 5-year-old gave me because every weekend I would come home and they'd be, Daddy, how'd you do? I was like, yo, the girls won again. And eventually the girls won turned into, yo, Daddy won. And I was like, no, the girls won, they won again. So the one time I came home anyway and he's like, here's your trophy. And so that little one, there is, you can't have that one. That one's mine. But thank you for that. Thank you for the winning. Thank you for the great season. Thank you for everything this year. I wish we could have done this a little bit differently, but thank you, Mr. Cipollone, for allowing us to even do this. Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach Hasselworth. Once again, congratulations, girls. It's just I learned a lot. I really want to be on this Frisbee Friday. I'm coming out next year for Frisbee Friday. But just want to congratulate you again. Also wish our seniors good luck in whatever you guys choose to do, whether that's college, whether that's entering the job force, military, whatever it is you're going to do. We know that you'll be successful in that. I'd like to thank the coaching staff. As I said, we went from not having sports to, as Coach said, get ready because you're running on Saturday and we got buses coming to get you. So just how they worked and their positive attitude through this whole thing and just trying to keep the faith that we were going to have a season. So thank you to the coaches. If you notice any mistakes on your plaques or your certificates or anything like that, like I said, it's been a rough go here in the athletic office lately. So if you see that and we mess something up, just come see us and we'll get that corrected. I'd like to thank Mrs. McKenzie because even though she had COVID, she was working from home and she came in Monday and cranked out a lot of these things for us to get going. We have a great supportive administration with Mr. Wilson. Obviously, Mrs. Morgan, our new assistant principal, is here this evening. She's going to go run with you guys, I think, every day next year. Is that what you said? No, not every day, maybe once a week. Okay. And then Mr. Laver, obviously, and then Dr. Goggin and our school board, very supportive of what we try to do here in the athletic department. Again, thank you to the parents and seniors on the way out. There are programs and your posters. So each senior, if you need a program, you can take one of those for free. If you're not a senior, don't take one for free, please, because we have a couple more. Is everybody getting one of those? Just the seniors, right? Okay. And then your big posters are out there too as well. So again, congratulations and have a great rest of the fall season here, or fall semester.